never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Hey everybody, welcome in. Hey Watcher.
Hey, how are you today?
I am doing really good. How is everybody else doing in chat? Welcome in. Hey Tron. Hey Proud Mimi. Hey Carol J. Arkansas, my girl. Cinnamon Girl, welcome in everybody. Welcome in.
Mr. Deer, nothing compares.
Mr. Deer. Yep, nothing compares.
Crazy
Stephanie
Crystal
Marie.
Lady, Sofa, Get to Know
Sofa.
Stop, Kathy Cat.
Kathy Cat, that's right.
Welcome in.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody in the back just listening in. Happy
Long
Father's
day.
Day to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to all the mamas out there that are being fathers.
Yeah. Hey, just observing. Welcome in, love. So glad to have you guys in here tonight.
If it's sounding okay in chat, hit a 1. If everything's sounding okay in chat, hit a 1.
Yeah, because I can't hear myself.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Well, my computer's been doing some funky stuff today.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's putting a 1. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Deanna Birch, welcome in.
Gamer.
K2.
Cat Daddy. Deanna Birch, welcome in. K2, so good to see you, love.
Matt Lingo, the mower man.
I'm going to give him my tractor that Toe Jam gave me.
What? You're not going to give it to me?
Toe Jam gave me a Ferrari tractor.
I wanted that Ferrari tractor.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Cut and Shoot, for gifting 10 memberships. Thank you so much.
Chino ran off.
Stephanie Marie, Ida, Arizona Traveler. Hey, Org was gifted. Danielle, Suzanne, Dale, LD, and Steffers. Welcome in to the Miss T shenanigans. So good to have you. So, hey, Nils, welcome in, love. Good to see you. Cut and Shoot. Thank you so much, love. Thank you. So, there's some things that I've been trying to filter and address. First off, I did not hide or take off my live from the other night. That is on a membership tier. Yes, Arkansas, it sure does. It brings the Bush people out. At least you acknowledge their support, though. And I appreciate that. Now, I put it on a membership tier. I was also getting emails of possible, let's just say, hey, Harley, Dad, happy anniversary again to you. Good to see you, love. I don't really know how to say this, but almost as if there would be a lawsuit for that live. So, really proud, Mimi.
Well, I
So
reported Bob's channel and I told him I was doing it.
it's just
It's
there
business.
has it is he is what he is.
Sorry. Go ahead. I'll shut up now.
They should not be bringing subs into this, and I've said this since day one. Especially subs that have been big financial backers too. Besides just every sub, I know, but I still, a lot of people want to think I did it because I pushed out. No, it wasn't because I pushed out. It was because of emails that I was receiving, and I didn't want anybody hurt out of it. Okay, that was my first thing. I'll take care of my own. It is public record of all of those information, and that's why I did not post it on the channel, because I wanted to go through it myself first. Okay. Now, let's just be clear. Not everybody knows what happened in the background. And a lot of people are first to assume. Let's start with Johnny, since that's been a big hot topic. What do you think, Watcher?
I think that is probably a very good place to start.
Okay. Kimmo, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Just Observing, Crazy Crystal Lady, K2, Big Ups, and Georgia Girl. Welcome to the Miss T Shenanigans. Hello, Dale. Hello, my dear. You left right in the perfect time earlier on the live. And if you could email me, sir. So, there has, with Johnny, anytime I tried to speak my truth on the other platform of where I was more concerned about, yes, you, Dale. Pretty please, nothing bad. Just wanted to inform you of some things. I always, anybody that watched that show, I tried to always speak my story. And I did not agree with how Johnny was treated. I was the scapegoat. I was to blame for that, which is not true. It is, it is Fast Eddie. There was absolutely zero intention of the person name that may have been similar to the name public record. You cannot use someone over. I agree, but I wanted to make sure keep the drama out of the chat. That was my main concern. So if you want to see it, it is on one of my membership tiers, but I might put it back out there when things cool off a little bit more. Now, when it comes to
Johnny,
the misconception of that was anytime that I tried to say that I was more concerned, and I think of all people, Arkansas can have my back. I don't think I was really talking to Watcher at this time yet.
nope.
I bet even Kelly would have my back. We were trying to say, hey, Wolf, welcome in, love. We were more concerned on people attacking him. Instead, everybody said, I don't know. Ask Jim what to do. Ask Jim what to do. I was more worried about Johnny because he is a very emotional and pure soul. And if something did happen, it would have been childhood trauma. That was the only assumption I had. My apologies to Johnny on how he was treated. I did not agree with it. Anytime I tried to speak out and tell my truth, I got shut down. And to be the blame, which is unfair for myself and for Johnny.
Who found Johnny's mother's information for Jim to call?
As far as I know, it was Jim. I had no idea about it.
Did you ever hear the full phone call that Jim had with Johnny's mom?
No. Nope. And I was more worried about him getting attacked at that point for Salty because of how he was already getting attacked. and for that information to be released. Not to realize that in hindsight, the information originally came from Jim and then used me as the scapegoat to blame it on. I was
So
more worried about Johnny getting attacked. And I was more upset with Johnny on how I was buffing up his channel and helping him. And it was more on the consideration of channels. We had two separate different channels, but come in, and I already said that the other night, and we've already made peace on that.
So Fast Eddie, if Miss T, if you don't mind, I want to answer this question. It makes no sense. Isn't Johnny Yarbrough the youngest of the siblings? Well, Fast Eddie, there was where I was sitting, there was a Google Drive link that went out, and I'm not sure who sent it out, but apparently it had Johnny's background history in that Google Drive. I never clicked on it because I didn't know if it was a grab link or whatever. So I didn't look to see what the background was. That was my bad. But what I will say is that as far as from being a person sitting, watching everything happen, Johnny made some contradictory statements. At one point, he was the oldest of the siblings, and then another point, he was the youngest. And I believe that there are actually clips of that. However, let me state that number one, I've never taken into account the fact that he could have step siblings or half siblings. Number two is I understand that when you're in a situation like that and emotions are running high, it is easy to make a contradiction not meaning to. So that's from me where I saw it. Now, Miss T, you can share from your side because the whole channel thing, I don't think that's
It,
something that's a big deal to most people. I think it has
it,
more to do with the allegations that we took and ran with and didn't
right.
support
And
them, or I
and
did.
I kept trying to say that I was more worried about Johnny's mental health and that I wanted to make sure that he was okay and protected more so than anything else. And by the time I went back into Johnny's chat after Jim pulled his shit, I was already unmodded and wasn't even a talk to or approached. So at that point, I was uncomfortable because you don't know where the daggers come when you're collateral damage of Jim, if that makes any sense. And my apologies for that. I never wanted anything to be done towards Johnny. I actually reached out to try to protect him and it backfired. And every time I tried to speak out on how it really went down, I was shut down.
And I will attest to the fact that whenever Miss T and I did finally start talking and I asked her about it, she did tell me that there was nothing in Johnny's background that she knew of that indicated that what Jim was saying was true.
And 99% of the time, I will not speak on anything that I do not know. Nothing against Johnny. He does have some disabilities, make it hard for him to communicate his thoughts. Yes. My issue, I wasn't really pissed at Johnny. I was just a little agitated at that time because he's like promoting my channel or saying thanks, Miss T, when I was doing his backgrounds and making him intros and trying to promote his channel. So when I did have lives or last minute lives on breaking news, such as the mass shooting, and him coming in saying, "Hey, I'm going live. Come to my channel. I'm going live." That's where I was like, "Dude, you guys go live every night. I haven't been able to go live at all. You want to promote my channel? When can I go live?" So that was my issue with him, more of trying to acknowledge that, hey, good night, Matt. Don't drive into any ponds tomorrow. It was never to get Johnny attacked the way that he was. I didn't want that. And it wasn't right. I never, thank you, Matt, Dale, Medale. They're the new couple, Medale. They go together. Hey, Deicer, so good to see you, love. Hey, Laura. That is correct. And he was the one that initially put that out, from my understanding. He told Kelly, and Kelly called me. Me and Kelly were definitely trying to figure out how to make sure that this wasn't true and try to protect his chat and any type of attacks that he could potentially get. But nobody knows because I didn't speak on it, or if I did try to, I would be shut down. So my apologies to you, Johnny. I never agreed with how it was handled. It was a cringe moment. And I think I can speak for many of us, is we did not think that was kosher how that was put down. And I never thought it was right. The only time I fucked around in your chat, Johnny, and my bad, was just to fuck with Deicer Dave, to tell him to come back home. That was it. Otherwise, I just tried to respect your wishes and stay away, because I didn't want to put any more fuel on the fire that was already there. Yeah. And that's why I always said my issues had nothing to do with what was being on Johnny. My issues were, he needs to understand. I wanted to actually talk to Johnny about it. But I was never given that opportunity.
And I think it's important that people realize anytime that you take anything to Jim or Mark Terry, it does get exaggerated and turned into content.
Well, even if they're the source of it and somehow it gets to you.
That's correct.
Yeah, I was just trying to harass Deicer because I'm a ball buster. And it was nothing intentional towards Johnny that night either. Just so you know.
Shut the damn door. They'll see us sketchy as fuck. I think one of the other questions that I saw floating around out there.
I'm trying to pin them.
Questions?
Oh, I've been trying to pin them as I see them, but I saw the entire Google Drive. See, I didn't even see the Google Drive. I didn't even know there was Google Drive until just now. And that's the honest to God truth. I would be happy to, Johnny, because it was just simply of filtering when it was okay to promote your channel and when it wasn't. Because it was just more so, hey, I'm covering a mass shooting. Go ahead and go live. I don't care. That's fine. It's just, okay, bye. Love you, Matt. Tell Katie I said hi. Wash your feet. So it was more of an issue of trying to get to him that I wanted him to understand that I am all about promoting your channel and building each other up, but also give me a chance to actually do my shows too. And it was just going through deaf ears because there was so much going on and so many back and forths and attacks. And that's why I said my issue has nothing to do with what's being blasted out there, which I didn't find anything. So it was not the case of me attacking Johnny. I did not agree with that 100%. And I know some people that are behind the scenes know that, holy fuck, because I didn't know about it. And I only went to Jim, was like, hey, we should protect Johnny. And instead, he's like, no, I got this and this and this and this. And ended up blasting everything. And I didn't even hear the whole phone call. A lot of it was held from me.
And I can also attest to the fact that I've been told directly by Jim Terry and Mark Terry that they stopped trusting Miss T a long time ago and kept stuff from her.
Which doesn't make sense because when he got struck down, I was the only one to have access and spent 4 hours collecting everything to get those strikes taken away. I got one taken away out of the 2.
Okay, and so many people would ask the question at this point, um, if they were so bad, why would you help them get their channel back by removing the strikes?
At that point, that was more on they were begging me to help or what to do. And I gave options of Kick, I gave options of different platforms, and it was just going through deaf ears. Anything that I offered was denied. But hey, you're the only one that Jim trusts to have access to his Google account to be able to contest these strikes. So that's when I spent 4 hours. Mark gave it back to me because he's an English major. He gave it back to me because he wanted to read it over and edit it. And he gave it back to me minimized with multiple typos that I had to fix all over again. Okay. So it was more of, I have always felt in a position of where I've become more connected to the chat, like Dale, Fast Eddie, Kim O, Laura, many people in chat you connect with. And many times when I got quiet was when I went to banter and chat instead, because I didn't want to partake. I never expected to be on panel, ever. I just planned initially to get him on and going and starting on StreamYard, not realizing he didn't know anything about internet and computer.
And computers.
Anything digital.
Hey, Johnny. So, Miss T,
Oh, and speaking of which, I told Bullhorn, I sat down with her at lunch and told her face to face that to let her know. Because those two are oil and vinegar.
Right.
And she knew I was uncomfortable with it in the beginning. I took about 3 days to think about it before I reached out. But my rent was raised by $800. I needed to put food in the mouth of my kids and diapers. Because I was expecting maybe a $200 raise or a $300 raise on rent, not an $800 raise. So in desperate times, I was like, all right, I'll just do it. And then I ended up becoming, that's why I say I was more attached to the subs, because the chat is its own environment than the panel. How did you navigate the BHB thing? I know she wanted to mail him. Actually, I'll star yours, Ruben. With Bullhorn, I let her know sitting down at lunch when we went to go to, does anybody know, I can't even think of his name right now.
Summer Wells?
No.
Oh.
That's how I became a mod to her channel as another creator. Putting on the
links and
no, on the vigil.
The vigil.
We were multiple creators working on the vigil together, and sometimes creators will mod other creators out of respect and to know that that's not a clone, because there are a lot of people that will clone creators' channels, and it's a mind fuck. So sometimes it's easier to mod another creator just to know that that's them, and not an alt that is hating and talking shit, because that's fairly common. I actually navigated it really well. There was multiple times that Jim asked me to get to work with Bullhorn, and I told him, no way, that's not going to happen. And she still wouldn't. There's a lot of times where he wanted to work with her, and Mark even asked me, how much would it take for you to not associate yourself with Bullhorn? Well, I know her personally, and I live 11 miles away from her. You can't buy my loyalty away. So I compartmentalized, I can never say that word, those two situations. And a lot of the other creators that I know, bigger creators, really bigger creators, that actually wanted to roast Jim, especially with the Rolling Stones and all of that. And they didn't out of respect for me, because that's what I did the first day I realized I was going to work with Jim. I called bigger creators and let them know. Alex Erickson, Justice for All, Dolly Vision, Bullhorn Betty. I can keep going on. But creators that I physically work with, that's who I let know.
Just out of my curiosity, because I'm curious, because I don't know, I didn't know you back then, but
Yeah.
what was it that brought you to the point of deciding to work with Jim?
Brookie.
Oh, the one that James Brenner's Brookie?
James Brenner's Brookie. She can sit on a pole and stir until she comes to me. Because at that time she was working with Doug.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I knew
She
that.
got me and Susanna. She knew I was really hard on money. And we were doing a lot of investigations on Summer's case at that point. And that's how we started talking. It's because I always try to do like a fun night on Friday nights. And that was the first time she hopped on panel. Well, she called me one day and said, "Hey, Jim needs somebody to teach him to stream, how to do StreamYard." Like, it was just like navigating StreamYard, you know? And
sketchy.
I saw that. That's why I had to pause, because I'm like, I squirrel, y'all. I squirrel with those comments. That's why I do better in chat sometimes. And all of a sudden she just ghosted, disappeared, because I had to sit there and digest. Should I help him for 3 days? Should I not? I've asked some of my other co-creators and some of my mods and friends. And at that point, I was really just needing some fast cash because of the rent increase. Because how do you budget $800 difference in your bills? How? It's
Right.
not easy, especially with 2 babies. So, to be brutally honest, I did it to try to pay for food and diapers. And then I realized I was stuck. Now, certain aspects of working with Jim, he's funny as hell. Until the vile side comes out of him. That I don't agree with. There was many times where I'd be in back chat and X was walking me off the cliff to not quit. And half the time I fell asleep. Because
I know that for a fact.
Yeah. And it was just it was too much sometimes. And I did not voice it publicly, even though I might have voiced it behind the scenes with them. But after a while, they started to make it content. Because I did voice my opinions in the background that most did not see. But that was Brookie. And then she also turned around to say that she tried to use it as a trap on Jim. I had no idea what that trap was. I had no idea whatsoever. Let me see what I have start to. Mark told me that a long time ago, and I know I let Miss T know because I couldn't understand why. I know Miss T put her show on the back end so they could put Johnny's up for intention to take it away from.
Ruben, I don't think they really had the intention to take it away from him until they started seeing how many people supported him. And once they started seeing that everybody was sending super chats and supporting him, that's when it became an issue, because they would have a show and they were afraid that that was money coming out of the super chats that they would get. Miss T?
Yeah, it was taking money out of their pocket. And frankly, Ruben, they barely still were trying to comprehend that I already had a channel of over 800 subs at that point. So I didn't let them know that I had a channel until even after Johnny got started. Johnny was already monetized before they knew I had a channel. 100%. They see it as taking money out of their pocket. And I've had that told to me directly.
Star Sketchies.
Let me go back. Okay. I think they were total assholes the night Robbie started all the trouble and Mark said nasty cancer comment to Miss T 2 or 3 months ago. It's always been that way in the background for the most part. If I wasn't standing up for myself, it would be underhanded compliments than that. I've gotten my cancer diagnosis thrown in my face numerous times when honestly I've never wanted the sympathy card. I've only wanted to be able to empower others that they can do this. Because my diagnosis, if you Google it, you can't find a single soul that has it. So the only thing I could find was somebody on Facebook that had a similar thing, but not the same diagnosis. And sometimes when you have that, you want somebody that you can relate to and connect with.
And that was at the time that you were diagnosed, correct? Or is that now? Do other people now have the same diagnosis?
No. It's extremely rare to have triple negative breast cancer and pregnant with twins. If you Google it, it doesn't exist.
Okay. Just clearing that up.
So it was more of trying to be a support.
And that's why you started your channel.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't even know about YouTube until the only person I followed was Ikid Mel. And before that, I really didn't even know about YouTube because I was never on YouTube until I lost my TV to my twins.
Gotcha.
Because I always just watched Bravo. I just liked ear noise. Johnny, that's where all the threats and all the BS came from. Many people don't know the effects it had on Johnny after the show. Fuck, if only knew PZ, King, and myself just from what Yeah, and that was my biggest fear. And I was more worried about Johnny's mental health, but I got shut down every time I tried to speak on it. And I'm sorry for that. It wasn't my show. It wasn't my platform. So I had to respect the fact.
And I think that is sometimes hard for people to understand and for people to let go of. Because I think people have the idea that you basically ran everything behind the scenes. I don't think they really understand the dynamics of when Mr. X came in and decided he wanted to take things over and took control back away from you, where you were just a mod and not really doing everything behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was doing everything behind the scenes, and I did not want to sorry, my husband just came home. I just did everything behind the scenes. I didn't want anything to do physically with the channel. I was just starting those super chats and making sure the graphics and the intros and everything that is needed, the thumbnails were up. Once X got involved, his in was saying that I deleted a
live that
show,
they still have.
A live that I found out that they still have and that they had for I found this out about maybe 3 weeks ago that they still have it. Oh yeah, I had it this whole time. In reality, they blamed me that I deleted it.
One of the other questions that I've seen, and I'm trying to pose these in a way as if I don't already know the answers. But some of them I may, some of them I may not. And on this one, I don't, but this is how I will pose it. When it came to looking up people, looking up documents, um, getting those receipts. What responsibility or what role did you play in those things?
Which one specifically?
Well, the one that
Because
I watched one
oh,
today, and we'll start with Fumble Nuts
okay,
because
Bumble
that's
Nuts.
yeah.
I was more triggered than anything with him during that live, and I did not want to say this publicly for the simple fact that I didn't think it should have been. I didn't want to rehash this, but I am a 2-time DV survivor of 2 different relationships. And so once I saw those DV charges, it triggered me. And my apologies. I did not realize that was your daughter. And that was the main thing, is seeing those DV charges, because I had 2 and I was a victim of them and I had to escape them. And it's still traumatizing to this day. And that's why I don't deal with intimidation very lightly.
And is sitting on this side of it. I will say that I have recently started watching his stuff. There was not a lot of people outside of Jim and those people that he supported that I watched, simply because I just figured every show was going to be about them bashing on Jim and his supporters. And I didn't really, I watched Salty up until he had the show about me.
Mm-hmm.
But once he had the show about me, I haven't really watched much else on there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know a lot of what was being brought out, but would it be fair to say that you made a judgment about him, as I did, without really getting to know him? Would that be a fair statement?
With Fumble Nuts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
My judgment was strictly on his DV charges. And I never
Gotcha.
really wanted to rehash those DV charges, but being that he wanted to know what really caused it, that is the case. Is I am, I've gotten black eyes. I've had sprained abdomens prior to surgery. I've been choked by a 6'8" firefighter who was on steroids foaming at the mouth. The last person to give me a black eye was my daughter's father, who they are also trying to use as content. So that was a trigger to me. So my apologies.
One of the other questions that I have is about, did you ever happen to see the surveillance video of the day that Fumble Nuts and his daughter were at the music store?
No, I only saw snips. I only saw screenshots.
But not an actual video, just screenshots of a video? Her kids are probably hollering.
Yeah, they are. You got to understand, Ruben, it was more of a trigger for me. It had nothing to do. It is his past, and I accept that. But at that moment, it is a trigger. So domestic violence is a trigger for me, whether it was his past or not. And I was in the wrong for being impulsive because I was triggered.
Do you happen to know, because I don't, did they ever
Let me
dox
interrupt
Fumble's?
you really quick. Anissa,
Okay.
that is true. When it was just me and Jim, he was very good. It was when Mark became involved, because Jim was always upfront and talking to me, and we worked well together. It was when Mark got involved, that shit went down. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Watcher.
Oh, I was going to say that were you aware or did you know or did they dox Fumblenut's daughter?
See, I didn't even realize that was his daughter. I didn't even know he had a daughter that old enough.
Okay.
I was just triggered. And that's my own problems that I'm working on because domestic violence is a big thing for me, especially
Right.
when I still have to deal with that every day. And I cope.
Right. Sketchy asked, how did they know that that was Fumble's daughter? Or at what do you know at what point it became known that it was his daughter?
I didn't know until I saw Fumbles live the other night.
Because I know that they have made the accusation that that was his daughter, but I never saw the screenshots. I never saw a video. It was only what Jim and X said. So I have had no idea if that was
Yeah, I had no
factual.
clue. And I didn't want to say yes or no. I had no idea if that was her or not. Because at that point, it was just what they said. And that's the honest truth. Is
Okay.
they didn't even know themselves. They just assumed.
And again, I want to reiterate that by that point, Mark already had put in Jim's head that Miss T was not to be trusted.
I
So,
have a screenshot of him on the security camera with his face. That's all I was provided. And I can provide that here if you'd like.
or provide that to maybe him
Yeah,
if he
I'd be
wants
happy
to
to.
provide his contact information. I think that'd probably be the best way is to provide it to him. And then if he wants to put that up, he can definitely do that.
Yeah.
I agree, Ruben. Watching him and the missus being beamboozled last night, that it really showed the friendship that they have between themselves. It was cool to watch. She was pretty funny. I really like her a lot.
Sorry, they're being loud.
There was another one.
He has multiple cameras out front, outside, on the back, on the front. And yes, you could tell it was Fumble. Because not everybody goes in asking for Jim Terry Jr., that Jim Terry. Only ones when they're looking from YouTube, I guess. And that's their paranoia. But I have screenshots of him there with a female. I had no idea if that was his daughter or not. Let me see what else I starred. Be honest, if it was for Chanel pressuring them, you would still be over there. I'm actually pretty thankful for that, to be honest, because back, if you remember, when Lady Luck doxed me and gave him an ultimatum of they're leaving if I'm staying on the show, if you guys look at any of that, I said, okay, I will bow down. If it's worth the subs, I will bow down. At that point, I thought that was my out. And Jim said, no, 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 no. So I couldn't leave. That was thinking that was my ticket out of that scenario. And that's the honest to God truth.
And just so everybody is aware that there are more people who watch Jim Terry that send them information than the people that work on the show or behind the scenes. I will tell y'all that straight up. There are people that have supported Salty. There are people that have supported Johnny. There are people that have supported Doug. There are people that have supported Fumble Nuts. There are people that have supported Bell. There are people all over that watch Jim Terry and feed them information about what's going on out there in YouTube land.
Sorry, my kid just walked in again.
And I will say this much, y'all, I really and truly have no business, and don't judge people on their past. My second ex-husband was in prison for 17 years. So when it comes down to people with felonies, it doesn't make them bad people. You know, if they harm old people or children, then yeah, I think that is evil to its core. But just because somebody commits a felony and they go to jail and they serve their time, it doesn't mean that they cannot change. It doesn't mean that they're a horrible person and deserve to be judged. It does not mean that. My dad, my biological father, was a felon. The only reason I'm not a felon is because I didn't get caught. Yeah, I said it. I'm honest about it. I did shit when I was younger that should have had me under the jail, but I didn't get caught doing it. And I think that everybody out there has done something that has broken the law. Yes, sketchy. People do want. Jim is very charismatic, especially when you get to see the other side of Jim. Because there is a different side of Jim. Mr. X, what you see is what you get. He's the same narcissist offline that he is online.
And I just found out that it was the computer guy, whoever they're using, is the one that identified Fumble. I had no idea who he was. I didn't have his name, nothing. I didn't even know who he was. At that point, my first thought was, why is he going to look for Jim at his parents' place that has older people and kids? On top of Jim's not there if he was. I was more concerned on that and also being triggered. So it was a double whammy for me. Is protection of kids that were there, because at this point I didn't know who Fumble was. I only saw them beefing with each other. And who knows what can happen when people are beefing with each other online. But it was the internet, whatever, whoever they used for the computer guy for that.
Highlight Cruiser Chris's under Rubens.
Let me get back to that one.
I think they know Chanel in real life. I think that Jim and X are equally as evil. I think that the breakup would have gone real different had Mr. X never come into the picture. But I think his jealousy is what has created a lot of the turmoil, because Mr. X has been the mouthpiece behind the scenes that has gone and dripped information from person to person. And then they bring it out as content and make it look like other people have started the drama, when actually it's Mr. X.
Johnny is a perfect example of Jim doing that. Let me get into these. Crazy though, Johnny still hasn't gotten checked for Google. That's because you have to really, really force and provide yourself. It took me about 2 months, maybe 3, to prove I was me.
Yeah, and I think PZ said they're on it and should have everything good to go in the next 3 weeks.
It's not an easy thing, and until you get that pin, you're screwed. But I had multiple conversations with Google support, and took a long time just for me. I gave everything but a sample of blood multiple times. So it's not easy, and I even had Google support try to reach out to me directly. At the same time, every time I would resubmit a personal information, look, this is the fourth time. I've even provided my social security. I provided my birth certificate. What else do you want? I've provided 2 years of tax returns. I provided all my IDs like 4 or 5 times. That's the hardest part. That's to be honest. I heard Johnny say he was only going on for 10 minutes on that fateful day. But before he had a chance to say hi, his followers, so X could go to attacked. That has to do with him and X. I had no idea about that. I wasn't a part of that. That's their conversations. I tried to avoid all of it. 90% of the time before the lives, I was jumping on at the same time. If I didn't know about the live, there was many times where I didn't even know that they were going live, and Jim would be yelling for me, and I never got a link. But yet, I was supposed to be there starting the chats and running the show. So that's an issue between him and X. X had his Valentine's Day. I will say this. He had that planned for a while. And he asked Johnny not to go live before that at this point because he was seeing Johnny taking money out of his hands because he would be the pre-show to X and X is the pre-show to Jim. And they eventually saw that as money coming out of their pocket. Like they told me, Cut and Shoot supporting me was taking money out of their pocket.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Did they know that was Fumble?
Somebody down lower also said that Fumble went on, I think, Johnny's channel. And said something about it. I don't know. It was up in chat. I just read it a minute ago.
Jen, this is just to talk to everybody that
321
is hurting or upset with the actions or what has happened. This is just for clarification. I'm not here to roast any of the men. I'm just here to address anybody that has been hurt by me unintentionally, or if I was triggered. I'm just here to answer these questions that they have. So it's not a bashing sentence. It's not a bashing live, but it's more to give some answers that they still had that I did not answer for them.
Yeah, and in the answer to Sketchy's question, Kodiak 321 at 10:20 p.m. said Sketchy, Fumble said it on Johnny's channel that very same night he actually went there, and that's how he knew. So I just want everything in the live shows, guys, rewatch and look with new eyeballs. That was from Kodiak. And then there was one other one that went along with that, I thought.
Oh, and let me get Jack on the bed.
Okay. Bear with me.
Okay, I'm back. So I don't want to keep this drama going on, but I do want to address some people that have been asking questions, and I didn't feel as though answering them in chat was appropriate. He always has got to take the show. How could X say he deserves to be put down?
Honestly, people want answers, and I think people deserve answers for their questions. I mean, we've sat by and we've blindly followed Jim and Mark, and they've hurt a lot of people. And when you are put in the situation, when you're the one that gets turned on and you've done absolutely nothing, and then you realize how much you've participated and hurting other people, there's nothing wrong with standing up and saying, this is what it was, and this is the part that I played. And if somebody thinks that that's wrong, they need to take some time to do a little self check.
Yeah. And I've never, behind the scenes, I've always been me. Now, I would participate when it was fun, you know, but the rest, it was more. I've got another jailbreak. Give me a second.
Okay. And
I'll give you a glimpse. I normally don't show them, but here's one of them. Why I spend a lot more time on one of the twins.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
iced coffee. Nobody blames you. Nobody's judging you for seeing Mr. X as a cool dude. If you like Jim and Mr. X, that's fine. There's not an issue with that. And it's, I know for me, I've said this and I'll say it again. I don't have any issues with anyone other than Jim and Mark Terry. Those are my issues. And I've seen a lot of people apparently have issues with me, but they need to go back and rewatch how all of this stuff played out.
And I thought X was a cool dude until the fact that he tried to isolate all of us and lie and manipulate all of us into thinking to where we wouldn't talk to each other. In reality, if we hear something about each other, we go directly to the source. And we caught them flat out in lies and pinning everybody against each other.
Candace, thank you for showing up.
Yep. Thank you, Candace. And that's another thing I have to address. Is you putting my daughter's name in chat. Many people do not believe that that happened. That was the hurt I had. She is a minor. My bad for calling out your son, yes. But I did not. Mama Bear took over at that point. Because she is somebody that I am protecting from the same man that was domestic with me, who I do have an order of protection for my daughter on, and that I try my best to keep safe from. Because he is a drug addict. And she honestly gave me a purpose to live. I didn't have a purpose until she came into my life. Did you know Jim only pushed Johnny's channel so he could have a place to play docs? He does that with all of the channels. Miss T, I can understand that, but if you have asked him about it, he would have told people, and he doesn't deny it. There's a change, man. Yes, I understand that. People can change. But at that moment, I just saw red. You could have emailed me. A simple email. Because now they're using it as content.
And I think Candace understands also how it feels to be used as content.
Yep. And I've many times called Jim behind the scenes and saying, are you using me for content right now? Because this is utter bullshit. And then that's whenever he got tired of those phone calls and instead wanted to do it on the live. Because I always handled my discrepancies behind the scenes, not on panel. Because I'm a fight or flight. If that makes sense. I didn't know he asked for Jim, so obviously he wasn't there to hurt kids. He was there to talk to Jim. This was yes and no. This was already after their fights. I
think that's about Fumble Nuts.
Yep. This is
Okay.
about Fumble Nuts. He showed up there after they already had their paddles on phone. And they're back and forth. So when you don't know who that person is, you don't know what's coming with them. So you get on guard, if that makes sense. You would do the same. And it's just that. I love you, Jen. I agree. After tonight, this is it. I'm just addressing what everybody's been asking me to address since Friday night.
Sketchy as
He
fuck
won't be
had a
coming out of my
question
mouth after that.
up top that says, "What about Divapus? Do you know why she's mad at you?"
Divapus can suck my cock.
Oops.
If Divapus has you fooled, go look at the drama she's stirring up between Queen Bee, Savage. She comes from Tiffany Marie, if any of you know her, in the drama. And she's also causing trouble between Jonesin. She's causing trouble between the whole drama community and all of that bullshit. And it's not her first rodeo. I had Divapus's back. I supported her. I was ready to quit that night. I basically fell asleep on the live. I couldn't do it. It was emotionally unstable for me, and I was stressed out myself. X was there to calm and sweet and be, oh, it's okay. Just take a deep breath. And when Divapus started making Sid the Kid alts on cut and shoots and being really intentionally to hurt other people, that's when I said, fuck her. And I stopped standing up behind the scenes. I did a lot behind the scenes. That's when I got done to see. Is because a lot of you saw cut and shoot be fearful for the life of her daughter, not only her grandson, but her daughter as well, and thinking it's funny to say Sid the Kid, but turn around and play victim. I don't really go in or use alts. I used an alt as Miss T, and that was because I did not want my channel to be held over my head. But Divapus is shady. I thought she was cool in the beginning, but then once I saw some of the shit she was pulling, and she kept egging on the shit with Jim, calling in, screaming, erratic. Yeah, we did bond over some mental health because I do deal with chronic anxiety and chronic depression and PTSD. But there's a certain extent where she didn't take accountability either. And she started intentionally hurting other people. And that's where I had to pick and choose at that point with her. Because you shouldn't be saying Sid the Kid over somebody that you think somebody is dying just because two creators are beefing. Not right. All I want to say is
Thank you, Sketchy.
Are people expecting an apology in here who are guilty of attacking other creators they have never spoken to or just follow another creator? Yeah.
I think at some point, a lot, not all, but a lot of us are guilty of that.
Sketchy.
Thank
you.
But I also think that there is a time and a place for some of us to stand up and take accountability.
Yep. And I wanted to filter my thoughts before I spoke because I can be pretty squirrely. I'm ADHD. Damn right I am. And I'm a squirrely motherfucker. So sometimes if I don't have my thoughts,
into horses.
Yeah, I run into the horse just as much. Sketchy, that was priceless, by the way, the horse you ran into. You read my mind with that video. I am 90% sure Fumble said he and his daughter went when he told everyone about it on Johnny's channel. And Jim's dad was a really nice guy. I wasn't sure where JT. Yeah, And that was my issue, was I only knew of the calls and the fights that they had.
Hey, Nils, we
That's
love
fucked
you.
up. Of their battles between each other on the phone. So it was more on guard at that point of innocent parties shouldn't be involved in their own shit. If you're looking for Jim, he's not hard to find. He may say he is, but it's not hard to find. There's some I do owe an explanation to, especially the ones that Jim has attacked Love, and want to understand a little bit more on where the source came from when I've been the scapegoat on many of it when I had no idea about it. And I was more concerned for the safety of others instead. Yeah, I get that. Why didn't anyone ask? Wait a minute. Is this right? Are we doing or just myself, yourself?
Talking
Well,
about Johnny. That was when we
yeah.
were on the discussion, Johnny.
And I felt trapped. This might sound like a stupid question, Miss T. When you knew all the stuff that was going on with them, were you afraid to leave right away? Yes, I was. That's
And I
why
think we
many people
Mhm.
are emailing me their alt accounts because they do not feel comfortable talking in chat. And that's sad.
You know, and I'll just add to it by saying this. Even after the fallout between me and Jim and X, there is clips, even Sketchy has clips of it, about Robbie threatening to put my information in the Doxing Hall of Fame, or my son's information in the Doxing Hall of Fame. Well, and they were
No,
like, no, we don't want
no,
to do that. No, no, no,
no,
no, no.
no, no. And Watcher can attest to this. No. Sorry to interrupt you. You know
No,
that's been bothering me,
no,
Watcher.
not a
Were you
problem.
not today? I am not today. And I can testify to
She
this
is
because the
not
first thing
not
I
today.
did was forward. I got an email from Not Today. And the first thing that I did was forward that shit to Watcher. And we
Yep.
both ran the IP addresses because I had no idea who that was. So, Candace, when you thought I was Watch Today, that's not me. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. I just heard on Bob's channel tonight, Mr. X say that they're going to put my information out on the website. And y'all, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because I have never lied. I have never, ever done anything to benefit myself. I've never done anything to either one of them. And they turned on me like no business for content. And so I'm giving them a taste of their own medicine. And now all of a sudden tonight, they're threatening to put my information on there. Go ahead, put it on there. Be my guest. Because I can guarantee you that you guys, and I'm talking to Jim and Mark Terry, have a lot more to lose than I do. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Write it down in ink,
And
on paper. Put it there.
at
I'm not
this
going
point,
away.
no, my cat's howling. At this point, I don't want to speak on them after this.
You don't. You don't have to.
And I want to continue having fun. What's done to the subs and certain subs and giving ultimatums, I don't think is right or fair. But I understand. Why do you blame stuff on Chinless X when Jim obviously is more evil? Are you just saying X is the cause of the breakup? And do you think Chanel? When it's just me and Jim, he would listen to my advice and respect my advice. Once X got involved, sayonara to that. I was able to keep a lot of the bullshit to a minimum and try to deflect the drama. And instead, X just threw more gas on that bullshit.
And then Candace has a very good question, and I know she's dealing with the cheerings right now. Were you afraid of what they were going to say about you? Did you know that they'd lie and make things up? Well, Candace, I can tell you for me, and I'll let Miss T answer when she comes back. Um, I was afraid to leave them up until, and when I say afraid, it wasn't fear, as in, oh, I'm deathly afraid of them. It wasn't that kind of fear. It was, I really didn't want my personal information put out there, and I knew that they would or try to use that as a means to intimidate me. But when Salty did his show on me on Rumble, that was the point that I had no more fear when I finally saw that, and that was just like I can go back and look at when I watched that because I haven't been on Rumble since. But maybe one night when Jim was on there, I went on there, I think. Um, but that was just a couple of weeks ago. And once my information, my name and stuff was put out there, it was freeing. It was like, well, I had to talk to my job because it got a little crazy. Um, and no, I can tell you that my boss did not come to me and say that somebody had called my job. I went to my boss in expectation that somebody was going to call my job. Um, and I shared with her clips that I recorded of what was being said. So my only fear was that someone was going to go after my job for what I was doing on my personal time. Now, I also want to reiterate something here. I never condone going after someone's livelihood like Jim did Salty, um, because that's a person's livelihood. If you can't take the heat of the internet on the internet and you have to go real live, that says a lot about you. And that's where my fears came from. There's a lot of stuff that Jim has done that I've not agreed with, and Mr. X, including that part with Salty and his job. The other thing is how they talked about exposing not being able to have children. That was disgusting because I have PCOS. I'm lucky that I have my son. So that to me was disgusting. Jim did make the comment that Salty said about his son. I was watching Salty when he did it, or I was watching that show when he did it. And I think Salty's even played that clip after that. Somebody did. And then there was a clip after that where Jim and Salty were talking about it. And Jim apologized to Salty and said, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't know your son was 11 or whatever the age was." And he said it. He said that he would fly out there and do something inappropriate to that child's anus, just like he did with my son. And so, anyway, going back to answer your question, did you know that they'd lie and make things up? Absolutely. And it's not only that they lie and make things up, they take things that have happened and they mix that with a whole lot of exaggeration and mistruths to paint it as the truth. And Miss T, I'll let you answer that question from Candace because I think it was actually directed at you.
Which one?
She says, "Were you afraid of what they were going to say about you? Did you know that they'd make up lies and things about you if you left?"
Yes, and that's why I was always very guarded, but especially with my husband, my child.
Ruben asked, "Watcher, you tried to make it known to your friends over there to let them know their info can be known from that website." Yes, I did. That's how my information, I believe, was put out there. Sharon Your Biz is actually a fake name that I've used on my Google account for a while now. Hello, it's like short for sharing your business. And so it actually, I have an issue with both websites. Um, I, I'm not technologically savvy. I'm not a real technological person, but I understand things. And I knew that once I had signed up for that site, something was going on because I started having issues with my computer. And then I started having issues with my cell phone. And when I
And
saw that Salty was able to locate the IP addresses and how he did that, things started clicking in my brain. And then I talked to somebody that works on computers here in my local town that also provided me with some information. And that's when I brought it up. With the new website, I have emails from April the 4th where I went to that site and I put in sharing your biz and then my email, which is Watcher of Crazy. And that's not my personal email. That's the one I use for my YouTube stuff. And so I still have those emails, and I know that that information from both sites, there are master lists, and they are kept with people's information. It's just like when they go out to this website and they talk about using Stripe. I would never, ever, ever go out there and sign up for their website because I've used Stripe before. The company I worked for previously did. And you have access to people's credit card information. They will have access to people's credit card information.
that was my
I ain't
issue
doing
with
that.
Robbie is he constantly tried to map into my computer. He's tried to map into everybody's computer, and I'd never let him. Thank you so much, Dale C. It means the world to me. God bless. Thank you. Thank you, Nils. Happy Father's Day to everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you. Now, let me pull out some others. Not so serious as fuck question. AF, serious as A. You should have heard me try to say water bottle earlier.
Have you ever
Not
had
so
butter
serious.
in the gutter?
What the fuck is that?
I have no
Maybe
idea.
Mad Mabel. Thank you, Dale. Thank you so much. Laura's bingo money. I love bingo. I absolutely do. Thank you so much. Amen, Ribbon. Thank you for both coming up here and doing this. My pleasure.
And then
It has to be done.
Scapegoat for Life also said further up that they stopped watching Jim and Mark whenever they saw some of the things that was happening, how they were treating people. Now, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people here
Yeah.
that have. And if they haven't, eventually they're either going to open their eyes or Jim and Mark Terry are going to go away.
And also genuine people that have real life stories being used as content. It's one thing when you want to be used as content. It's another thing when it's not right. Oh, I'll do whatever I want to please, you lot lizard. Have you ever had butter in the gutter? Pissed off Patty? Just let me know. I haven't. I'm assuming you would know. Happy to see you in. Oh, that's one we already answered. I liked your true crime stuff. I hope you'll do that a lot more. Watcher, you have a good sense of humor and can get in with other women for that may be going through some hard times. Absolutely. Thank you. And that was one thing is I've been missing is being able to go over my cases. I'm not able now. I'm able to attend my cases. And that's what I've ultimately always wanted. Miss T, do you think this is why Jim threatened Mark? Because Mark was doing shady shit inside. I didn't know he threatened Mark.
Yeah, remember you said something about Mr. X or Mark threatening to kill his brother?
Oh, that's from the past. I was just trying to prove a point to Jim that Mark has loose lips. And there's a lot that he said that's not even touching the top of that. But Jim was already attacking the mothers before X. That's why I was hoping mothers could get some closure to cause them you're guilty by association. We had no, let's just be honest. A lot of the information that they did find was from the computer guy. We have no idea who that is. When it comes down to it, they threw, and Robbie's going to get a rude awakening one day. Is we're a community, we're a team. He's good.
You okay?
What was that? Give me 1 second. Sound like Jack crying. Hold on.
You know, it's really funny about him attacking the mothers. And I don't mean funny, haha. I mean funny that he paints them in such a bad light. Yet, when you really start looking at things, when you take a step back, because I didn't really know anything about Candace other than what Jim had said until just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I really started looking into stuff deeper a couple of weeks ago because I was like, if he pulled this on me, then is there truth to what everybody else has been saying that he's been going hard for so long, trying to explain or defend against? And I'm telling you, my eyes were wide open at that point.
And some of my actions lately, particularly Friday, was going after certain people that have been loyal and innocent. So I don't think that's fair nor right. That have really backed him up. Instead threatened just because they're busy with life. And I did not agree with that or thought it was fair. And so my mama bear came out this last weekend.
Okay, and then Sketchy's question that you have up was, but Jim was already attacking the mothers before X. That's what I meant. I was hoping the mothers could get some closure to them. You are guilt by association.
And that was the same issue. And I think that's why me and Cut and Shoot got along so well, because we were both collateral damage and guilty by association. It was kind of a situation where I was stuck. But then again, I was also, every time I saw a ticket out of there, like Lady Luck, no. Let's kick Lady Luck instead. So at that point, I realized I was stuck. And I did not know what to do.
Ruben, I've never tried to hide anything than where I worked. Hell, I was on YouTube under my first and last name.
And if any of you have sent me a Cash App or a PayPal, my full legal name is there.
Yep.
I've never denied it. Now, my issue is the protection of my husband. We are in an active interview in case. We are halfway done with him getting his citizenship. And I did not want him to throw that in my face, which he did. And then a lot of people that were pissed off at Jim brought that out as ammo. He is all I have. He is all my family has. He is all my daughter has. He's taking up for a father that's not there and being a father for his own two too. And taking care of me through my cancer, through everything. And he's stuck through it. That man is 1 in a million that's working 2 jobs.
He's a sweetheart for sure.
He busts
And
his ass to take care of us.
and look,
And that
guys,
I
there
can't
was
lose my
somebody
family
on
when that's
Jim's
all I've
show.
got.
Yeah, and there was somebody on Jim's show whose significant other got deported. I'm not saying that it was at the hand of Jim. I'm not saying that, but it sure seems coincidental that this person, was there all the time, and then all of a sudden that happened and that person disappeared.
And with Florida's new law, um, we're looking at relocating. Um, we don't have the money for that. Shit, I don't even have money for rent. But we are looking at relocating. I've already talked to my lawyer about it on Friday. I'm an open book.
De-icer Dave asked, question, is it
Hold on, I
possible
got
for
another
someone to get
jailbreak.
is it possible for someone to get your IP address just from being in chat? I don't have an answer to that question. Yes, Classic Colt. I don't know that Jim said Fumble threatened his dad. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. But there were times that I wasn't really listening to what was going on in panel because I was in chat paying attention to what I was talking about in chat. I think afterwards they may have started using that as an exaggeration, but in the beginning, I don't think that was the case. Candace Howard says after he had been there before the footage, he was polite and bought strings, had nothing bad to say.
With the YouTube servers, and I've kind of assisted De-icer with this and finding VPNs because he has been hacked and his identity has been stolen, and there are clones of him out there with his legal name.
Sketchiest Book said, how long have they had the computer guy?
I don't know. Don't know. None of us know who he is either.
And I know that there is somebody that has told, and outside of Miss T, that has spoken with the computer guy, but does not know who that person is.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you. I saw your email. Yes, I'll get back to you. I still haven't even touched my emails, to be honest with everybody. Watcher can attest. I've been avoiding everything. Thank you. But I will, and this is in regards to all the other emails. It's been overflowing with emails and texts and calls. And I kind of have stepped away for a second and trying to filter my thoughts before I respond to a lot of people. Yeah, Fook easy now. It's not possible to get someone's IP address from this chat. Each member is assigned a encrypted token and people's ID addresses are never revealed.
Just to clear up and circle back to Classy Colt posted, I know that Jim Terry was lying, PZ. I just think that too many others believed what he said. He also said that Johnny sent Fumble there and people believed him on that also.
And see, I didn't know the intentions, so it was more on the fact of me thinking of wrong place to do that. Especially when I'm protective of my daughter. And I don't live in the best area. Let's just be simple.
Shoot.
My daughter
Get that cash out.
Constantly having lockdowns for shootings. Her school is on Martin Luther King. So when it comes to the safety of kids, I am on high alert. And that's just basically living in the wrong areas of town most of my life. So if you don't know the person's intentions, you can just assume. And I need to take my own advice. Assuming gets you nowhere except for making an ass out of you and me.
Just want to check and see if there are any other questions that we haven't gotten to yet. Easy Now 90 says StreamYard is open season though. Make sure you use a VPN. Ruben, your heart is amazing. You do have a very big heart.
And if I want to clarify this, because some people did bring it up. The other night, I was talking about subs as a whole. I kind of blanket that response because I don't want to name names. And I will not name names who come to me in confidence. I haven't and I won't.
And I know that there was also along those lines when you said, it was about the subs and things like that. Can you keeping people safe? And I think the question was, well, what about the subs that were already attacked and had gone on? What about those people?
I wanted to be able to address it because I didn't agree with it.
And then the last
I
question.
didn't address it. Agree with it.
Okay, I'm just making sure. My last question.
It was rightfully so.
Pissed off, Patty. My credit score is a 100, girl. I scored perfectly on it. Oh wait, we're not in school anymore. Shit. I really don't know. I haven't checked my credit score in a while.
Hey JD, so good to see you.
Because I ain't trying to get nothing on credit.
I don't have any chips. Fuck me. He wants me to eat chips on my lives now.
My last
Thank you,
question,
Dale. I love you so much. I'm glad you got new headphones.
If you had access, because I saw apparently they had to email somebody to have you removed from, I guess I don't know if it was you. It couldn't have been YouTube because they're terminated. So I guess their StreamYard. So if you had access to their StreamYard for so long, why did you not just click the delete button and delete all that shit?
I'm not that shady. I'm not that malicious. I had every opportunity to do that. I could have even turned shows off with a click, but I'm not that person.
Cool.
And I had it up there because Jim, like I said many times, Jim would say, "Where's Miss T?" And I had no idea. And X didn't tell me when he thought, oh, he sent the link. No.
All right.
And does anybody else have any questions? Just wanted to check. I'm open to anything.
Can I make a closing statement before you make a closing statement?
Yeah.
Okay. So my closing statement is this. And I did a lot of thinking at the wee hours of the morning this morning, and I don't try to do a whole lot of serious thinking a lot of times, but I even posted it on my community page. We are stronger together. There's power in numbers, and we're working towards a common goal. There's a time to set differences aside or go to one another privately and hash things out. Because right now, the majority of the people watching this show or that rewatch this show have a common goal in mind. And that is to be here on YouTube to have a good time, to laugh, to deep dive into whatever fancies you and floats your boat, and to get rid of the bullying, the negativity, the threats, and all that trash. And so I hope to see us moving forward as a cohesive group and setting aside things that are maybe not deep
Think you
seated
should
things
show.
for us to accomplish that goal. That's my closing statement.
And anybody that wants to start some shit, I'm watching both chats. I am a bush watcher, always have been. I don't interact in many chats unless I'm comfortable or if I'm bantering with the boys.
And that's Dale and Matt mainly.
I'm way behind, but I just want everybody to know I never asked for Jim at his dad's store. Appreciate that. Some reason you are on their radar, and there's video footage, and the computer guy ID'd you. I had no idea who you were. Just once I saw that DV charge, I went into trigger mode. And that's my fault.
Thank you, Easy Now, for the information you've dropped into chat on how to protect your information and keep you safe while
if
you're on
we
the
can
internet.
let you know, Easy Now never tried to hack their fucking website. He was a Jim supporter too. Until the Marissa bullshit. He doesn't deserve any of this bullshit. He's one of the biggest heart, most loyal motherfuckers you'll ever meet. I appreciate that, Ruben.
Oh, thank you, Ruben. I've always
Once you see
loved you,
Twin
Ruben.
Mama in my chat, let me know, please.
Do what?
Once
She
you
was
see
here
Twin
earlier.
Oh, she's in both chats. Mods, please block her.
Y'all, and that kind of stuff is going to happen. You know, the people that still support him are still going to support him blindly because it's hard. It is hard to admit when you're so blinded. And if they want to be there, that's fine. I don't have a problem with anybody that chooses to continue to support that, because I was one of those people once. And hopefully they'll come around. And when they do, I'm going to be here to support them. Just like there were people that I wronged that have supported me. Y'all, I shit you not. I am just baffled by how many subscribers I have on my channel. And I don't even really have a channel. I got a great community page, and I will keep up shenanigans until it's not necessary to keep them up anymore. And then I'll go on to some other shenanigans. But you all have been wonderful. And when I say you all, the good and the bad, you know, I'll tell you, I think the one person that I've come to adore the most thus far, it's a close race between Fumble Nuts and Candace H. It really is. And I made judgments. Without knowing these people. Johnny, thank you. Thank you, Johnny.
Hey, beautiful Freya.
I made judgments about a lot of people without getting to know them. And just, you know, that was one of the things last night is how many great people have I missed out on because I made a judgment based off of someone else's opinion. And I don't want to be that gullible. I don't want to be that simple minded. I feel the same way about you, Candace. I
Toe
feel the same
Jam,
way about you.
you made me fucking cry on Friday. Toe Jam, vroom vroom. Toe Jam, where's my tractor? Toe Jam,
Quit
I looked
swirling.
everywhere for you on Friday and you were nowhere to be found except for on Elsie's panel. And I was drunk as a skunk typing in Elsie saying, Toe Jam, where's my Toe Jam? I love you, Toe Jam. Don't make me fuck with you, bro. Sorry, had a moment.
That's okay.
Gotta mess with my Toe Jam.
Good night, Ruben.
Good night, Ruben. Thank you.
It's worth a lot.
Yeah.
And if you
And
need
easy
help
now.
catching that biggin while you down there in Texas, Ruben, you just holler at me because I got a friend named Geraldine. And Geraldine won't mind helping you out one bit.
Thank
Geraldine's
you,
a wild one. She's been on bells the past couple of nights. She's got a bitchy sister named Jolene that takes her man.
I
So
love Jolene. Now, here's one thing.
you love Jolene or Geraldine?
Is
Better love Geraldine.
let
That's my
me
friend.
give one good prop to what Jim and Mark did do. They connected some badass women together.
They did. They did.
And we're stronger together.
Weedleby, the issue with all of that is Jim knew that wasn't Michelle, or there was a strong potential for that not to be Michelle. That's why that show got taken down. It was privated. And Miss T can attest. I think Diva Puss was back there, and maybe Susanna was in the back.
Mhm. Yep.
And I said, I'm not sure that it's her. I don't know that. But whenever I type this in, and when I start looking and digging,
He still wanted to use it
yeah, he still wanted to
without
use it.
verifying it.
Red Rover,
And I can vouch for that.
it's the @ sign Diggy Diggy Do, and do
get it.
is
I'll
2
just post
O's. Diggy Diggy Do.
I think she's more so in the chat reporting on us and all of the bullshit to get her channel shared. So that's why I want her blocked from my channel. Because if you're going to sit there and be a supporter and I don't have to explain myself, don't go and talk shit in another chat at the same time that I'm watching dually.
To promote your own channel.
While trying to provoke more drama.
Yeah.
I'm done with the drama. I have enough in my hands.
And Weedleby, I'm sorry for getting pissy with you about calling it out, because, I mean, I'll be honest with you, at that point, you were absolutely correct. And it made me go back and dig more, which is why I ended up helping Michelle. I mean, I truly felt bad about the position that it put her in. And they never quit using her for content. And, you know, there was one time that he got pissed at me when I went down there because I wouldn't put her on camera. I wouldn't take a picture of her. She didn't want to talk to him. So
She would prefer to talk to either of us over him.
Yeah. And, you know, I've got the phone call that he made to me. I don't have it recorded. I can show you in my phone the day he called and told me that Michelle had called him again and that he couldn't deal with her, that he didn't have the mental ability to deal with her at that time. And he didn't want anything to do with it. They can put out every email I've sent. They can put out any text message. They can put out any video. I don't care. They can put it all out there.
Good night, lovely.
I have no fear. I have nothing to hide. And if I did something wrong, if they show that I've wronged somebody, I don't have a problem going, hey, yep, that was me. If it wasn't me, I'm going to tell you it wasn't me. and apologize. And I think everybody has seen that. So
So if I answered your questions about Diva Plus, was that good enough? Or do you want more?
who, me?
She did some dirty shit when I was trying to mend the fences.
That's good with me.
And just want to check if there's any more questions. Otherwise, I got to close this up because I got to work in the morning.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me be here with you. You know I love you.
Love you too. I got a little annoyed with him with the whole CP because my niece has it. Well, that's the thing, is they've all come out to us, Michelle, Cruiser Chris, Tron, but they don't appreciate it because then they come back with the R word, which is typically not a word that I would say. Also, I did apologize to Gina, even though I don't agree with her on some things. That is out of my character to say what I said to her that night. It was more for shock value to get them to shut up. But that's typically not me to say something like that. And if you want a badass ghost hunt, I'm your girl, and we'll do it in numbers. Mark my words. Because I heard if I do it, they're going live at the same time. I just need a plan. Let me tell you, I'm billed in hospital bills.
All right, girlfriend. Well, I sure hope that you have a wonderful week.
You too, thank you.
Hope you have a lot of laughs. I hope that tonight was able to answer some questions that people had.
Fumble, do you have any other questions that you want to ask? He's behind in chat, so can somebody ask him?
Pissed off, Patty. They're going to keep you real busy, baby. You just keep looking pretty, honey.
Where have you been, Stage Tech 2? We've missed you. Thank you so
Oh
much.
my gosh, Stage Tech 2.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stage Tech 2. It's so
He
much
lives.
appreciated.
Thank you.
And it's not over. I'm just not going to continue to engage because I do protect my family. Because my immediate family is all I have.
I'm going to continue to engage until they shut up.
Good night, Freya. I love you so much, lovely.
Good night,
And
Candace.
to everybody, I'm sorry if there's bad blood or if there's anything that happened. I was simply collateral damage. And also, when you saw me being silent, that was when I was paying attention to chat because I did not want to engage with the bullshit on the panel. I was having more fun fucking with either Toe Jam or Dale.
Thank you, Candy Wrapper.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Dusty as fuck. Are you calling us Dusty? Stage check. Everybody missed you. Yes, we missed you. No, we're all douches.
Fumble Nuts, you made up for it last
You're
night.
taking over my channel and my Cash App? Fuck, I get a water heater? Maybe. Shit.
Diapers. Fumble made up for everything last night doing the Bean Boozled challenge. That shit was epic.
Do you still want that cut and shoot? Let me. Here. Let's just do this really quick. We'll do.
Y'all know she bought Geraldine one of them damn pink water heaters with some bling bling on it. They bedazzled that sucker.
Let's put this to bed. Watcher has done nothing but support Lacey H. So anything that Jim is currently saying to convince Lacey H that shit was being said, completely false. We love and
Lacey
adore
H just
Lacey
talked
H.
to me on the phone.
She is
We've
on
talked on the
panel,
phone.
and he's
So
trying to say that you were talking shit about her, which is the utter, absolute false, false, false. We have nothing
God, I
but
wish she could call me
adoring
on
and love
three-way.
her. Now, if you ever need me, my email is right there. I had watchers pinned at the chat, but if you ever need me, that is my email. And I am not today. I don't know who the hell that is. My pleasure. There's a lot of things that need to be said, but I'm the type of person that I like to filter and think about what I say before the delivery comes out.
Hey, Fumble, if you need somebody to show you how to really drive that Can-Am, holla at you, girl. I live on a gravel driveway, too. I got a gravel driveway, too. Show you how to put it down.
Well, thank you so much, Watcher, for being up here with me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you, Stage Tech.
Very nice, Stage Tech. Cut and Shoot has a gravel driveway, too. We must all be cousins. Yes, Fumble Nuts, I was trailer trash until 2016.
I just saw that Cut and Shoot. That's too funny. Thank you. And no, I don't get bought off. And no, I don't do it in for the money. I do it because I enjoy it. The money is a good aside, yes, to help me with my bills, but I also do it because I personally enjoy it. There's a big difference.
Yay.
Right?
No, Fumble
Oh.
got to go shovel him some shit. My first job was shoveling horse shit. How if a man's hands are softer than mine, I don't want no part of it. I'm sorry.
I'm the same way.
So
I can't do a man that's
classic code.
more
That's because you're
feminine
classy.
than me.
Girl.
Can't do it.
Reuben, my sister that lives next door, she has one of them there pools, them above ground pools. We don't have to get some of them little sucker fish in there to clean the algae out. We're just hillbillies. We ain't no damn hillbillies here in Texas. We ain't got hills. We're fucking rednecks, dude. Get that shit straight. He's got my address. I bet he what they call it? Pull up. Pull up. Good night, everybody.
Oh, we have a surprise visit.
Hey! Oh,
taking over the channel.
Shit, cousin.
Gotta put her in the lead position now.
Hey.
Yep, hey, Master. hey, Master. Hey, Master, Cut and Shoot.
Hey, I was just coming up to say, I'm white trash too. You know, I got crushed concrete driveway.
But are you trailer trash?
Well, according to Bob, I am. I'm white trailer trash.
I grew
it's
up
just it's too damn hot to have concrete or asphalt driveways down here.
Only to have them crack.
Exactly, right? When you can just hire I have some guy that just pulls up in a pickup truck and says, "Hey, for $50, I'll drop a load of crushed concrete in your driveway, fill in the holes." I'm like, "Have at it." It's so much easier than paying several grand to fix a, cracked concrete driveway. I also shovel shit 3 days a week. I wanted Fumble Nuts to know that. I shovel shit and hose out dog and cat piss out of carriers and kennels at the local dog shelters. So
Oh shit! Candy Wrapper has a dirt
Thank you,
driveway.
Freya.
Whoop whoop.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm thinking about making like a little video every time I get a super chat.
Thank you, thank you.
But I want to do it the old school train song.
Del C said,
Riding on
"Pook
the
easy
train.
now, you ginger.
oh shit, don't use that.
Watch out. 42 pounds of tits might come at you."
God damn.
Sorry, I didn't mean
Oh
to say
shit.
that out loud. Yeah. But cut and shoot. Have
Yeah.
you met Geraldine yet?
I heard about Geraldine.
Did you? That hooker told me you
That,
got
that's
her one of them pink
that's
water
a good
heaters with the
name.
spring clean.
That's my mama's name, actually. That was my mama's name. I love it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So
Well,
good name.
I hope
But
y'all.
hey, there ain't nothing wrong with shoveling shit. Um somebody's gotta do it, right?
That's right.
Otherwise we'd all be living in it. So money's money. Bills gotta be paid.
And you know what? Shoveling shit is more commendable than somebody that's sitting with a spoon in their mouth, a silver spoon, and doing shit with their mouth.
It's better than eating shit. I'd rather
That's
shovel
right.
it than eat shit.
Shovel shit than spit shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Toe Jam,
Yeah.
where's my cash app? Where's my super chat, Toe Jam? I want my Ferrari tractor. Gotta fuck with Toe Jam. Sorry.
Get the cash
joking.
out.
Gotta mess with Toe Jam. I haven't seen him around lately. He was protecting some lady in
He's
Sport
now
earlier.
sticking on me. Will you make me a super mod?
you.
Easy now picking on me. Can I be a super mod? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, you already run the channel.
Oh shit, that's right. I demand it. Just kidding.
Instead of
You got 30
instead of guidance,
seconds.
it's-
I just need to say, first of all, I need to clarify. I only paid $150 for the diapers. And did I buy wipes too? I don't even remember now.
Yes, I
Okay.
just finished the last wipe now.
Yeah, so
The
it's just
diapers lasted a month and the wipes lasted a
just-
hot minute. Thank you.
just a couple cases of each, and I have not bought one hot water heater. That shit's hilarious. I don't know the first thing about hot water heaters. I've been married 30 years. I've never had to learn about them. I had a daddy before I had a husband, so I would know the first thing about a hot water heater. So I've never bought a hot water heater, but trust and believe. If I had to pick one out, it would be pink. Probably pink with a little black on it, and a lot of like bling, a lot of little
Bedazzled.
diamond bling.
Yeah, it'll be dazzled.
My husband thought that shit was so funny. He was like, "You're being accused of buying hot water heaters for everybody." I'm like, "Apparently so." And he laughed so hard. He's like, "Damn." He goes, "I was proud of you that you went to Home Depot and bought Ryobi tools."
Hey, I like Ryobi tools.
Ryobis are awesome, aren't they? I love them.
I bought
got
my whole setup from Home Depot.
I got a whole she barn full of Ryobi tools.
There you go.
Awesome. So anyway, you did great, Miss T.
Thank you.
I hope it brought people some clarification. You're a great person. You're a good, genuine person. You've always been there. I've always been able to trust you. You've known all my personal information for a very long time and never once leaked any of it out. And, and I totally trust you. So I just wanted everybody to know that, because she really could have hung me out to dry with Jim and never did. Because he's been wanting to get a hold of me for a long time.
Mhm.
And that's fine. He don't have my phone number or nothing, but she could have gave it to him, and she never did. So
Yep. And I've already spoke on, where my thoughts were in the beginning and how those changed. I wasn't sure what to think. I really wasn't. And as time has gone on, she's become a very well trusted person. Very well
Yeah.
trusted.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Her and I have been
there's,
friends, what, a year now, right? About a year?
Yeah, July will be a year.
Yeah. So she was there for me. Even when I wouldn't respond to her during my daughter's 4.5 days of labor, eh, on the hour, every hour, checking how are things going? Are you okay? And poor thing, I was ignoring her and not answering her because I didn't know. I didn't know who I could trust. And she was there. And she didn't care that I was ignoring her, but she was there. And I, I owe her a lot of gratitude. And I give her a lot of gratitude for that. But she's a good friend to have. She's very trustworthy. So I hope that this brings peace to
Thank
people
you, Jim.
and a lot of and the questions. And I hope that we can move past the the pain and the hurt that's happened with people and move on.
Yeah.
I was laying new paneling in it. Yeah, Fumble Nuts, I saw where you asked me to buy paneling. Yeah, no, yeah, I won't put any money in that douchebag's pocket. That's for damn sure. And it wasn't Miss T's fault that he was losing my money. It was his fault. It was his mouth when he thought he'd make fun of my grandson being sick and almost dying during childbirth. That's what where he lost my money and my support. And he continues to use it as content even to this day. So
yeah.
he can let somebody else support him and panel his basement.
Yeah, and to clarify, cut and shoot, we relate on so many levels of our struggles of mental health, of work, different aspects of living our views. It had nothing to do with the bullshit between Salty and Jim. We tried to keep that completely separate.
Absolutely. We never discussed YouTube. Honestly, we didn't. That was actually our escape from YouTube, was us being able to talk and laugh as females and strong females, as mothers.
We struggled with our first kid.
Yeah. And being supportive through our personal struggles. It had nothing to do with YouTube. And we gave each other advice. We both work in healthcare and we laughed mostly about patients and honestly gossiped about crap at work more than anything.
I'm constantly getting threatened or death threats right in my face daily. So I deal with a lot of patients that should be 5150. So
yeah, Fumble Nuts. I haven't been a JT fan since he was on Doug's when he made fun of my dad dying of cancer and my mom having Alzheimer's and dying from Alzheimer's. That's when I decided that's actually what made me leave Doug's channel. And then he just started showing up over at Salty, so it wasn't fun. But I'm hoping to get past that. That idiot, because he's non-existent, so he can just move on.
And also, you can have my word that I am not going to take this bullshit to anybody else's channel unless somebody does say my name, and I will defend myself, rightfully so.
Right.
But I do not think it should be plastered on other people's channels because that has nothing to do with the situation at hand. I just want to be clear with that.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of us stand at this point.
Thank you, Candace.
So, all right. Well, I'm going to get down off here. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you, you guys.
Y'all have a good night.
And all the subscribers, y'all are awesome. Thank y'all for being supportive to everybody.
And thank you for subbing up. I lost 100 subs because of Jim. I did not lose monetization, but he did demand everybody to unsub.
Well, this shit's got to weed itself out, right?
And
But
one
I'd
more
rather
time,
have subs here that are here for a reason,
before
not for
we
a
go.
season.
Sketchy as fuck. Dale C. Dale C. Dale C. Dale C. Stage Deck 2. Cut and Shoot. Freya and Toe Jam. Thank you so much for your super stickers.
Yes, thank you so much. Sketchy. Dale. Dale is kicking it tonight. I think he's already in bed though. You sent me an email.
Well, y'all have a good evening. I'll
All
be
right, you
seeing
too.
y'all on the
Take
streets
care.
and talk to you later.
Shoot.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Love you. Freya, thank you so much. And Toe Jam, you're absolutely amazing. And yes, bust Dale C's balls. That's my job. I'm a ball buster. I like to have fun and laugh.
PZ, thank you
So,
for being so supportive.
yes,
Lord
thank
said,
you.
he said, you're very welcome. He did take our bingo money.
Who did?
Dale took Laura's bingo money.
Oh yeah, he took your. Oh yeah, Laura, you're still in here, so you can tell him. Make sure he has his headphones in. I'm still laughing over that. Still,
Good night,
I don't know why.
Candace. Good night, Crazy
Candace.
Crystal
Thank
Lady.
you.
Peace out, easy.
Now the only crowdfunding I will ask is for the damn ghost hunt. That's it.
Girl, we'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen. And 90% of the time when I say hit that Cash App, it's never expected but appreciated. And it helps me continue to do this on my spare time. But
Hit the
the
cash
connection
out.
that I have with people is what I really appreciate. It fills you differently, not monetarily. It fills you internally. So, on that note, what I always tell everybody is don't forget to smile or be somebody's smile because you could be their saving grace. Have a wonderful night, y'all, and God bless.